Oh, come on. Bobby, they started with 10%, now they got 2/3, and you're still saying not enough. Not enough. Well, squeeze the Palestinians more, squeeze them more. So tell me, when do the Palestinians get a state? Can they do the same exact thing that Israel did? Say, go to the United Nations and ask for a state. Can they do that? Isn't that fair?
Well,
Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks tore into RFK Jr. in a discussion about Israel and Gaza. Now, before I get to the clips, I just want to acknowledge that my green screen fell off the wall. So this is the background for now. Let me know if you prefer this, or I don't know, maybe some kind of set back there, some shelving or something, to the usual green screen pattern. But this interview with RFK was part of a longer discussion. So this is an hour and a half interview. I watched the full thing. There were parts of the discussion that I was honestly kind of surprised by RFK, as it's wild to see somebody so completely off base on, a few important issues. And then on other issues, like when it comes to housing, for example, or when it comes to the power of massive corporations, he at least has the proper critique. Doesn't mean he has the proper solution. But to see somebody so in tune with a lot of the issues in society and then just be completely like you're going to see in this debate over Gaza and Israel, RFK is just, he doesn't know what the hell is going on. Or I actually do think he knows what's going on, but he is, for whatever reason, unwilling to acknowledge the reality. So before I even get to the first clip here, because I got 3 clips to get to, I just want to clarify why this run that RFK has right now in this race for president, it makes no sense to vote for him. I want to show you this. In 92, you had the election, of course, Bill Clinton, H.W. Bush, and Ross Perot was also a major candidate. You see here, he received almost 19% of the vote. 0 electoral college votes. Just so you understand, under a first past the post 2-party system, you are not going to have a third party win. The electoral college simply does not allow it to happen. So even with, almost 20% of the vote here with Ross Perot, 0 electoral college votes, 0 chance of winning the election. Just so we're clear about what this run is. This is simply a vanity run, and you could say at best a messaging campaign for whatever RFK is pushing, which largely seems to be a lot of anti-science propaganda around vaccines. But apart from that, also a lot of bullshit when it comes to Israel and Gaza. So let's watch this first clip.
So you go after Hamas, I agree with you, okay? But when Israel kills 30 times as many civilians, there's some point you can't keep saying, oh, Hamas made me keep killing all of your civilians. Golly gee, it was all an accident. I'm the most moral army on earth. I just happened to kill 30 times the number of civilians that Hamas did. And Hamas is a terrible terrorist organization. So at what point do you say, this isn't defending yourself anymore? All of Gaza is destroyed. We all have eyes, we have ears. We say that about Biden. Democrats say, oh no, he's a dynamo. Brother, we got eyes and ears. We can see that the guy can barely talk and walk, right? The MAGA guys say, oh, Trump never lies. Brother, we got eyes and ears. The guy lies all the time. You look at Gaza, they leveled the place. It's gone. And like 85% of them are homeless now. At what point do you draw a line, Bobby, and go, God damn it, that's enough, stop killing them?
I would draw the line when Hamas lays down its weapons and says,
so if Hamas doesn't lay down their weapons, now innocent Palestinian civilians held captive by both the Israel occupation for 57 years, brutal occupation. Okay, hold on, and Hamas, let's say Hamas.
Wait, no.
Okay, so now, but Israel gets to kill as many Palestinians as they want for ad infinitum?
No.
Because, oh, there's still a couple of Hamas guys left. Well, how do we know when all the Hamas guys are gone? So are you okay with 370,000 dead as long as there's a Hamas battalion left?
Number one, Israel.
One thing, by the way, to note is RFK, I don't think at any point directly answers any of Cenk's questions, because the way Cenk frames these questions is a way where RFK can't directly answer them. If he continues down this position that he has with Israel. Because based on his position of just blanketly supporting whatever the hell the far-right Israeli government does, then his answer to Cenk's question here would be, yes, I'd be perfectly fine with 370,000 dead. But he's not going to say that because that sounds terrible, which it is. So instead, he dances around each of these questions in a way to try and put it back again on Hamas as if they're the ones dropping the bombs on civilians, when no, it is in fact the Israeli government doing that.
Is not occupying Gaza. Israel.
Okay, that's crazy.
So, okay.
Just to go back on that point, RFK claims here that Israel is not occupying Gaza.
Number one, Israel is not occupying Gaza. Israel.
Okay, that's crazy.
So, okay. Israel left Gaza in 2006, and Hamas took over Gaza in 2006. And
but they don't control their borders. They don't control their water, their electricity, their power.
Right. And well.
All right. So I'll get to the next clip in a second here. That is just to deny the occupation is to simply deny reality, which you could argue is not new for RFK. He denies reality in other areas as well. But this is, this discussion around Israel and Gaza goes on for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. I only got a few clips to pull out here. But RFK brings up, history, and like he is, it's not as if he's Donald Trump on this, where he just hasn't read up on it, doesn't know anything, doesn't care. He may not care, but RFK is aware of the history. RFK is aware of what has gone on, yet he still takes the side of a genocidal Israeli government. Again, this goes to I don't know why somebody who is aware of all of this and did not grow up brainwashed on this particular topic, why he would take the position that he is taking. It's completely bizarre and just runs counter to how RFK tries to position himself as, a truth teller and somebody who is willing to say things that others won't say.
You can ignore everything Hamas says, but the Palestinians are definitely occupied. Israel has been brutally oppressing them for 57 years.
Wait a minute, Jay.
I mean, are they free? They're not free, are they, Bobby? They're definitely not free.
People in Gaza? Or Palestinians?
Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank, not remotely free.
But Palestinians, there are 1.3 or 2.3 million Palestinians in Israel. It's 17% of the population.
Notice again how he didn't answer the question. He goes to Palestinians living in Israel, which, by the way, look up apartheid on Human Rights Watch or on Amnesty International, and they go through, even Palestinians living in Israel, they don't have equal rights either, but RFK pretends they do here.
And they have all the rights of anybody else in Israel. They can vote, they can serve on the Knesset, they can,
yeah, but how about the 5.5 million that have no freedom, that are in the West Bank and Gaza Strip being kept in prisons for decade after decade after decade, using the excuse of, well, there's one Hamas guy that says Israel should be annihilated, so we're going to occupy 5.5 million of you. Well, there's always a jerk who's going to say, oh, I think Israel should be annihilated. I think this, and not only that, it's a greatly ironic argument that, hey, Hamas doesn't want Israel to be a state. And then Israel turns around and goes, I'm not going to let the Palestinians be a state. So aren't they worse than Hamas? Because it's not theoretical. They are literally preventing the Palestinians from being a state. That is what you say. Hamas is so terrible because they would prevent Israel from being a state. Well, Israel's already doing that to the Palestinians.
Look at RFK's face there. He knows. He knows. He knows. He knows Cenk is right.
Look, on the peace treaties, we can go back and forth. You say, oh, well, we offered it. I say, yeah, if you come to somebody who says, give me half your house. And the guy goes, why should I give you half my house? No, I reject. You go, you rejected my peace treaty. Now I'm taking half your house. Now I'm taking 2/3 of your house.
Now you're arguing again, because all of these things I can answer. So if you
come on, Bobby, they started with 10%, now they got 2/3, and you're still saying not enough. Not enough. Squeeze the Palestinians more. Squeeze them more. So tell me, when do the Palestinians get a state? Can they do the same exact thing that Israel did? Say, go to the United Nations and ask for a state. Can they do that? Isn't that fair?
Well, you know, they gave them a state. They gave them Gaza, and they used.
They didn't, Bobby. Look at it. They cut off the water, the power, the border. That's not a state. You know that's not a state. It's technically not a state. It's legally not a state. It's the reality not a state. It's come on. It's not in the reality-based world. You think Gaza controls its own borders? You think it controls its own water and power right now? Or can Israel obliterate it at any time that it wants?
Can I answer that question, or are you just going to start filibustering again?
All right, and it just goes on. Like he's RFK again. He doesn't answer that question. He doesn't answer any of these questions directly because it would expose how completely twisted RFK's position is on all of this. Is he getting certain funding from AIPAC? Like, I don't know what's happening here to have someone who clearly is aware of the situation not be willing to acknowledge the humanity of Palestinians. But regardless, this alone, for me, would be is a complete non-starter. I mean, if you take this position on Gaza, then I really. And you're a third-party candidate supposedly challenging established powers, especially. Why would anybody pay you any interest? So, like, this is further right than Joe Biden is. This is where Donald Trump is, and Donald Trump doesn't have, I don't think, any fully fledged thoughts on this, but the people around him definitely do, and he has discussed. People around him have discussed they would allow Israel to do even more, allow them complete control over Gaza without any criticisms or anything at all. So again, I'm not defending Biden's position, which is atrocious because he continues supporting the Israeli government. It's just to show you that there are three candidates here, and they're all terrible on this issue. And when you have somebody who is a third-party candidate and is positioning himself as somebody who is challenging established power, and he still is not willing to acknowledge the humanity of Palestinians, this is someone you should just completely ignore.